Hi there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading. This is Yetta Pearl, and this is your general angel reading. Sorry, I'm being distracted here. This is your general angel reading for the week of March 7th through 13th of 2022. So we're going to see in a second what our angels are wanting to tell us today, or for this week, right? For the whole week. I am also a Scorpio, and so, sometimes I wonder if, if the messages are just for me personally, or, and I know they're not, because there are some parts of it that I think, I don't know, I don't really identify with that. So that just must be for somebody else. And that is how it works, when it's a group reading, which this obviously is, then the messages are, it's a collection of all the guardian angels, and they all come and they have their input, and then whatever is kind of majority rules, that's what the messages are that come out. That's what the vibration is that comes out. So some parts of it may not resonate with you. Okay. All right. So here we go. We've got more to learn here, I think, is what it looks like. What you're asking about, yes, it is true. Along with this this is reassurance. This is for you to kind of go, okay, all right, I'm seeing this correctly. It feels so very true. It's like there's just no doubt in your mind. It's like you know this without knowing how you know this. That is one of the ways that the angels will communicate with us. Like all of the divine will communicate with us. Suddenly we just know that. And it's things like, when you hear something or hear about something, you can sit there and go, that doesn't resonate at all. Like, I don't understand. I don't think that can possibly be true, right? And it's a gut feeling, but what the message is for right now is that you need to be following that up. You need to do some due diligence. Yes, it's true. You need to be able to back it up, right? And, normally the message from Spirit is to completely trust your intuition. And that is still the message. But it's like our world is demanding proof. And this is a short-term thing. The more we can do this, the more we advance our world. So don't be taking it as a criticism of you or your intuitive knowledge or of anything else. Like just go ahead, find the proof. It's all there. I mean, don't get defensive over that. Just say, okay, yeah, here it is. I'll, spend some time researching some stuff, save things in your phone or whatever else, whatever it takes, right? Just go ahead and do that so that you can prove the truth. Honestly, I've never ever received that message before, that type of message, but so that's new. Okay. All right. And so feels like kind of in the same topic, try to see the other person's point of view. So it's almost like somebody's has whatever, challenge you on what you know is true. You do know the truth. You can find the proof to back yourself up. You can share that with the other person. But be nice about it. I mean, there's just no need to feel all defensive and to get bent out of shape about that. Try and see what they're seeing. Try to gain understanding. Ask them questions like, where did you see that? What is it that makes you believe this other thing instead of the same as I believe? Try to find common ground. And that's going to really connect you with the people that you feel so disconnected with. It's really a peaceful message, a promoting peace, creating peace message. Okay, all right. So right now is also a time where people who are perceived as different are really being vilified. It is okay to be different. There are, there's, people are people. They don't all try to see the other side of the story or the other person's point of view. You can lead the way, be the leader, be different in that way. Be always promoting truth and peace. Make sure you have solid ground to stand on. So therefore, do research things. Don't just take what somebody else said as gospel, right? And in this way, you will be different. And our world, our humanness, I guess, doesn't take differences well at this point in our society. And so you may find that people disagree with you, but it's okay. They're allowed to disagree with you. Some people, though, they're so rude and so insulting. They make it personal when it's not personal at all. It's just a matter of vision, perspective, right? So you can be different in whatever ways you are different. If you like wearing pink and purple polka dotted pants with yellow stripes through it, then go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. People might laugh at you and snicker and whatever, but so that means that they are still learning in that way. You can help them learn. Engage those people and say, hey, how are you? I'm a really friendly person. Are you? Let's find some common ground. What things do we have in common that we share? Right? So, wow, it's just such a connection message for us this time. Usually, as Scorpios, we get pretty passionate about things and we don't always know when to stop, right? Or when it's wise to come from a different angle or whatever. And so they're trying to teach us how to do that, how to stop and just take a breath and go, oh, okay, so, that other person didn't say it very nicely, but what they're really saying is that they're feeling insecure in what they know or think they know. So now it's up to us to just stand firm, be pleasant, present different ideas to them, ask them their ideas so that we can find the common ground and be different in that way. The different people are often the leaders. The different people are the leaders. Okay, all right. So when you're experiencing different types of feelings through, maybe interactions, maybe from past hurts, things like that, we've got all these feelings. And it's sometimes kind of a knee-jerk reaction to, have the feeling. So let's go back to this example that they used a minute ago. When somebody challenges you on something that you believe or have spoken about or whatever, and it's easy to have that knee-jerk reaction, that defensive thing that oh, but you're just stupid anyway, so I can't take your comment as real. A lot of people have that as their trigger reaction. When you stop for a minute, you pause, either before or after that trigger. When you pause and you look inside and see what actually is that feeling, and why did that trigger me? Like, what's going on? Talk about that. Talk about those feelings. Talk about what came up and so quick and why you couldn't help yourself from responding in that way. It's not a response, it's a reaction. How you reacted in that way. And instead, talking about it makes it so that you have time in between to go, oh, right, all right, I still have that trigger. How would I rather respond to this? And then it is a response, not a reaction, right? Talk about your feelings. Talk about what's going on. Talk about whether you're feeling betrayed or frustrated or really joyful or supported. Talk about how you're feeling with that. That is so important. That's what also creates those connections, right? So, when somebody does attack you for whatever you've said or whatever, if you can say to them, wow, you've really made me feel defensive. And okay, they say that's the wrong way to say that too. Now I'm feeling defensive or something like that. I'm not an expert on this, obviously. So when you can, though, explain your feelings about this, not that they made you, because that's not the truth either. It's your own actions and experiences that create those responses in you. Nobody makes you feel that way. It's what's already in you that creates that response. So, when you can say to somebody, I'm feeling like this, can you, help me figure this out? Or just saying, I am feeling like that. And so can we just wait for a bit with this while I sift through what I'm going through? It makes you more human. And that sometimes is what the other person needs. Now, there are always the people who will take that as a weakness and they will just push, 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 push. Sometimes you just have to cut them off. Okay, all right. So, artistic expression, this is different. Different from the rest of the message that's going on. But use your creativity. It is also related to it's okay to be different. When you wear the pink and purple polka dotted pants with the yellow stripes, that is part of your artistic expression. That is part of how you are expressing yourself as an individual. And it's part of who you are. Even, the very first time you do that and you're feeling rather, vulnerable, stepping out that way, that's still part of you. Because somebody without that part of them, it wouldn't even have occurred to them. They wouldn't own such clothes, right? So use whatever you have, whatever feels good to you, to create artistically. Maybe it needs to be beautiful. Maybe it needs to be off-kilter. Maybe it needs to be very colorful. Maybe it needs to be all white. Whatever it is, clothing, artwork, speaking, sculpture, whatever it is, let it be completely yours. Okay, all right. And yes, all right, always good advice, drink more water. Yeah, somebody out there is dehydrated. It actually feels quite extreme. I can feel that, like, your body is just crying out. But you're distracted and you haven't really noticed it too much yet. The odd time you think, oh yeah, drink of water would be okay. And you do that, but you're not being mindful about it. Your angels want you to be very mindful about it so that you take deliberate time and effort and I don't know what the word is. Anyway, that you're very deliberate about pausing in what you're doing. Notice your water. Express thanks to your water for being there, for nourishing you, for keeping the dehydration at bay. And then take a sip and a swallow, and more, until you are completely sated. And then you're allowed to switch your thinking back to your task that you were so involved in. Okay, all right. That, by the way, that is kind of the way they want you to do everything, not just drink your water. They want you to eat your food that way too, every mouthful. Being very grateful for it, for its flavor and its texture, and how it nourishes you, how it makes you feel. For every bit of clothing, and as you're putting it on, every time you're in the shower or brushing your teeth, driving your car, speaking with your children, whatever it is you're doing, they want you to be so very mindful of that and expressing gratitude in your mind, like appreciation, right? That you really like this. And that's how they want you to form your days and like every moment. Okay. All right, so here is the daily guidance cards, and we'll ask for one more piece of wisdom to have us going on with. Whoa. Okay, there it is. Okay, blessing in disguise. So it's something that we tend to feel like, oh gosh, right? Like, look at the look on her face. That's how we tend to feel, like, oh. The blessing in disguise means that whatever's happening right now that we're thinking is terrible, it has to happen to clear the way for the good stuff. If this didn't happen, then the good stuff can't come. It's one of the building blocks. Even though we're thinking, oh my God, this is terrible. Sometimes we don't even know. So sometimes, we're like, okay, we're setting out on this road trip. And, we want to be gone by 8:30. And at 8:25, something happens, something springs a leak. And we go, oh no, we have to deal with that before we can go anywhere. We can't leave that. So you end up delayed, and it takes you maybe even an hour to fix that. So then finally, all right, you get in the car and away you go. You don't even know that if you had left on time, you'd have been in that accident. You may never know that. That could be all cleaned up by the time you actually get through there. So you might never know. Anything, any scenario of that kind, right? Whatever is happening now that is making you frustrated and slowing you down, making so you cannot accomplish what you want to accomplish right now, and there's a reason for that. And it always leads to something that's in your favor. Okay. Scorpio, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I love you. And I'll see you next week.